Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that she shouldn't overvalue herself and prepare for the worst? I, 21F, have an older sister Eve, 29F, who had her first child, Lori, 1F, and while this should be a time of joy and excitement, there is actually a lot of tension and brewing resentment between her, our mom, and her husband, Jack, 29M. Despite it being unplanned, Eve's pregnancy was wanted, and Jack was an involved partner. He went to most of Eve's appointments, took the birthing classes, and supported Eve's decision to just have our mom in the room while he wanted outside when she gave birth. The plan was for our mom to be by Eve's side in the room and to help stay for a week after Lori was born. Everyone was cool with this, but unfortunately our aunt got into some drama with her husband in another state, and our mom rushed over to be at her sister's side. Eve was already in her third trimester, so Jack didn't like the idea of our mom going and voiced it. Our mom tore Jack a new one, and Eve even got on his case about it, so he apologized. However, Eve ended up going into labor, and Jack ultimately was the one in the room while our mom was away. When she called, our mom expressed being sad over not being there for the birth of her first grandchild, and she and Eve decided that no one else in the family would see Lori until she got back. Without discussing it with Jack, he was understandably not happy as his mom lived about 45 minutes away and was looking forward to meeting Lori too, as she was the first grandchild on both sides. Eve pulled the "I just gave birth" card, and Jack reluctantly allowed it. On the day that our mom was supposed to come back, she missed her flight and couldn't get a new one until the following morning. Our mom could have just rented a car, but she didn't want to spend the money since the airline wouldn't refund the money. Jack was brought up allowing his mom to come again, but Eve refused, citing that he already agreed. Unfortunately, Jack's mom was in a car accident and passed before ever getting to meet Lori since Eve wouldn't even allow video chat. Jack was distraught. He moved to the guest bedroom, went to the funeral alone, and refuses to engage with Eve at all. Jack's side of the family keeps calling and messaging Eve to tell her what a selfish and awful person she is, and Jack refuses to defend. Eventually, Eve got sick of it and packed up and left to her mom's house to teach Jack a lesson, but he hasn't texted or called. Our mom thinks that he just needs some space and that he'll call soon, but I just laughed at that. Didn't mean to though. My mom and Eve asked me why I laughed, and I tried to brush it off or even leave, but they couldn't let me and pressed for answer. Eventually, I told her that while the accident wasn't her fault, she did keep Lori away from Jack's mom, meeting her for a week, and now she never will. There's no way Jack is going to ever love you enough to forgive that, and that you should prepare for the worst. Eve started to bawl her eyes out while mom berated me, so I left. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Just to clarify, because I keep seeing this when the accident first happened, Eve has apologized 3 separate times, Jack has admitted to this, and Eve intended to go to the funeral with him, but he drove off without her. Jack does interact with Lori, it's Eve that he's icing out, and my niece is the only thing he's willing to talk to Eve about. Jack had been living in the guest room for 5 months before Eve left. She's offered to go to couples counseling, but Jack has refused.